my brass logs. Shit. Too famous for what, you nigga?
What's up, killers? Today we're going to be replacing a chain. I'm using this bike as an example just to show you guys how to inspect your chain, or what I usually do when I'm checking them. First thing I do is I walk up to it as it sits and I tug on the chain in the back. Assuming the bike's still in neutral, just sitting around. And when it has some looseness to it, that means you know it needs to be adjusted. What you're gonna do is you'll look at the back of the chain adjuster segment. There's gonna be little tick marks. If your chain adjusters are all the way back, that's a sign that you need to replace the chain, because it actually is supposed to be in the middle to the front. Towards the back is your replacement window. Here's an example of what the adjusters look like when they're all the way back. They're nearly hanging off and you have no room to adjust. Assuming you're absolutely shredding that bike, you're gonna need a chain adjustment probably pretty often. I adjust mine probably every couple months. So let's get started. First step is to get your chain off. Cody here is going and cutting his off with a Dremel. It's kind of a long process, taking your chain off without power tools. So if you have one or have a friend that has some, this is one of those bigger steps. Another way of doing it is some chains have a chain link master, and those can just get clipped off with like a flathead and a hammer or like a wrench, just to like tap it off. Once you got your chain off, go ahead and start routing your chain. It doesn't matter if you go from top to bottom or bottom to top. Either way, just get the chain around. You're gonna wanna feed it through the chain guide in the back of the bike under the swing arm, and then make sure it goes through the chain guides in the front, around the front sprocket and back. And then once you're all routed correctly, you can start lining up to see how much you have to cut off. To set the proper length of your chain, loosen your chain adjusters, the lock nut, and then the actual drive bolt, and then push your axle far forward until your tick marks line up towards the front third of those tick marks. No lie, this part's kind of annoying because you gotta adjust both sides evenly and they go super slow. Now it's time to loosen your axle nut. Once you got that loose, push the wheel forward up against those 10 mil bolts. This whole process is honestly pretty annoying because the wheel keeps sliding back off the swing arm. So having it kind of tight when you're pushing it forward helps it, but it's just harder on you. Once you're done with that, route your chain back around the sprocket if it fell off, and then try and make a mark on the chain of where you need to cut. Make sure both the top and bottom of the chain you pull tight before you go around and make your mark. So here we are, this chain link on the top that's overlapping. We're gonna cut at the rivet on the bottom. Notice the chain has an inside link and an outside link. We're cutting it where the inside link has an ending, that way we can connect the two inside links together on the endings of the chains. Just shave this down, take off this whole part so there's two inside links, and then we'll just put that on as the outside link. All right, here we go back to the grinder. We're gonna shave off the end of the rivet on the one that we marked. So the ends of the rivets are mushroomed out, so we're gonna either use a file or a power tool. We obviously have a power tool, so we're gonna use that. Now it's time for the chain tool. Go and put it on your chain right where you're gonna push the rivet through. Put the handle on the back of the chain tool and on the side. It actually helps if you use a 14mm wrench on the end of the handle instead of like the given little twister, fucking what the thing's called. Yeah, pull that shit out. Put this on, and then that'll give you more leverage. Once the rivet comes out the back of the chain tool, you need to go and unscrew the chain tool, pull it off, and then line up your chain by pulling on both sides again, and then getting those two holes lined up for the master link. Yeah, this do mean. Nice. In case you never used a master link before, you feed it through the back, the two prongs face forward out towards you. And then you put a front plate on, and there's a little clip that you gotta put on after that. And that's kind of like the finicky part. You gotta use some pliers, or in our case, we used a flathead and a hammer and just tapped it in place. They're pretty straightforward to look at. It's like, imagine like a kid's puzzle piece. It's pretty simple. You should be able to get it within a few seconds.
Hey, keep that for yourself.
Rolling your chain onto the sprocket once the master link is clipped in is kind of just a preference thing. The way I do it is I feed through the bottom like put the chain on the teeth on the bottom of the sprocket and just nudge the wheel forward.
Ooh. That's how you put on a chain. Grr.
Hey.
Gold grills, baby.
I forgot to record the wheel adjustment part to get it straight, so we're gonna go back to the YZ450FX. Here's our tools needed: 10mm, 12mm wrench, chain tool. If you have a breaker bar, use it with the socket. If not, here you go, you got an adjustable. Just be careful. When you put it on your axle nut, you could strip it, or I guess round it off if you don't have it, you know, tight. Lucky we have the 27 here for the Yamaha. All right, so to tell which one you need for the chain tool, you're gonna go and grab your actual chain and then look at the open end on it. Grab those chain tool pilots and see which one nearly fits it. This one's too small. I actually have the proper size in the tool itself. It's just kind of stuck and I can't get it out. This one's too big. So yeah, here just to show. Yeah, it's not gonna work. As I mentioned the file earlier, if you have a Dremel, way better tool. Takes a lot less time, and using a file for that whole entire thing we just did would suck ass. All right, nice first step is to put your bike on a stand. That way you can free rotate your wheel. Give that axle a karate kick. There we go. And all you need is enough looseness to get that nut to rotate. Yep, she good. Now we're gonna grab our 10 and 12 mil, go to these adjusters right here, and loosen the lock nut, the first one. And then from there, we're gonna loosen like lefty-loosey for putting the axle backwards more. Cause right now, watch this. Okay, in gear, push the wheel back. Now check the slack in the bottom now with it in gear, rolled back. Your adjustment should be like your knuckle. Just to check, my finger is a little bit over 1.25 inches. All right, we're just gonna assume 1 finger-ish is good. All right, to tighten your chain, we're gonna count the tick marks on the adjuster from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so from there, we're gonna grab the 10 mil, put it on the adjuster right here, and when we rotate left, it's gonna push the axle slider backward. So that's still in gear. Okay, so we put it at almost at 5. Oh, it's a little bit past 5. That's all right. We're just gonna go check on the other side. Put it a little bit past 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this one's not even. Oh, no wonder this bike felt weird. This shit's at 6, or a little bit above 6. We're gonna try and match the left side to the right side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like on the left tick mark of 6. We're gonna try and match this side. So as I was trying to match the left side to 6, didn't even get there yet. The chain is way too tight. So what we're gonna do is back this side off. Put it in gear, make sure the wheel's pushed forward, and then pull the rubber back at the same time. And top is tight, check the bottom. And that's about it. Yep. All right, now what you want to do when you tighten the axle nut, you want to keep these still kind of loose, because if you go and tighten those first, they might rotate and get out of alignment. What we're going to do now is grab our rag. Be careful here because you can pinch your fingers. This is just a preferred tool I use to make sure the axle is tight in the proper wheel adjustment. You want to double check your alignment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. with your rack still in there. For this part, hold the 10mm in place and then tighten the lock nut with your other hand. Once you got those tight, go and pull the rag out. And then take your bike off the stand. Once you got that, make sure she's in gear, roll back, and then check the slack. Top is tight, bottom about 1.25 inches, and then just double check, take her out of gear. Grab the chain from the back again. Now look, that doesn't want to move. Last step, now that the wheel's on the ground, put this back on and tighten her to spec. For me, it's just a little bit of force. Once she makes that tick sound, it's tight. I got that. Oh, she nice. When she's like low temperature, she like stalls faster. Ah, you getting played, huh?
Does it
Don't use the clutch. Let the clutch out. When the engine's off, you just not use clutch. She good?
Oh, I didn't fucking know that.
Bro, how gangster are you without a gold chain?
On some for real shit though, thanks for watching all these videos. Yo, getting to actually edit this video is pretty fun. Usually when I get to editing videos, it's like, fuck, I hate doing this shit. But this one actually was pretty fun because I got to work with Jack, Cody, and Zeke. And it was like, I don't know, just swapping chains and then just fucking around doing cool shit, I guess, was like a lot of fun to us.